Solano Petero, and welcome to another episode of About Town, where we feature members of our county who are making a difference in our community. Well, back with us today is our illustrious District 2 Supervisor, Monica Brown. And thank you so much for gracing us with your presence and telling us about what's going on in your area. So tell us, what's going on in District 2, Supervisor Brown?
Well,
so nice to see you again.
It's nice to see you. I love being back at the community college. Always promoting higher ed, and this is a perfect place to do that with. Well, I think one of the things with all of the water that we have been dealing with, let alone the flooding in my district, but thank heavens we've been keeping our fingers crossed, is how Lake Berryessa is doing.
I know.
And Lake Berryessa, as of like 2 weeks ago, the last data that I have, has at least 5 years worth of water.
Wow, when you were here last time, you said 2.
Right. We've had so much rain and so much rain, and with Lake Berryessa, it's just water just coming in, and I just love it. There isn't like a actual river coming in, so it's just the water coming in. But I think people need to understand a little bit about why we have it, and then what I'd like to do the next time I come by, if I get invited, is I want to talk about our mussel program. And I do have some visuals that hopefully we can add on so that people can see the different PowerPoints, why it's important, and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
But one of the things is that the whole purpose of having Lake Berryessa is that it sits behind the Monticello Dam.
Right.
And the reason for it is that in the 30s and 40s, our farming community realized as we're growing, what are we going to do for water for ag? And then, as I was doing more research for today, I found out that Earl Warren, who was governor, was concerned after the war, are we going to have enough water for Travis Air Force Base? Are we going to have enough water for Mare Island, as well as the Benicia Arsenal?
Wow.
Because our water from Berryessa not only goes to every place in Solano County. And what we have to do, but I want everybody to understand as they're listening, we still have to conserve.
Absolutely.
We've had a lot of rain, but that does not mean that the 12th or 13th atmospheric river is going to continue with that. And so I wish, though, that we would talk about more storage.
Right.
We've got all the snow, we need to store it. But what was interesting to me, again, working with you, is that there's a fun fact that I really liked, and I want to read this one. I thought this was cool. It is that if the dam broke, it is estimated that winters would be under 40 feet of water in about 15 minutes. Flood waters would reach all the way to Davis.
Oh my.
Yes.
If the dam broke at this time.
If it broke, with all the water, if it broke,
winters would be underwater.
Water in 15 minutes. It's estimated winters would be under 40 feet of water. Think about 40 feet. That's, I don't know how tall we are here, but tall here. In about 15 minutes, there's no way you could get everybody to evacuate. That would never happen.
It's like New Orleans when their levee dams broke.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
So I thought, well, let me just share that fun fact.
That's kind of harrowing when you conceptualize it that way, right?
Yes.
We've had so much rain.
We've had so much rain.
That
Yes.
in 15 minutes winters would be underwater.
Yes, yes.
My
but
goodness.
40 feet high when you think about it. I can remember in the 80s or 90s that we were so dry that you could walk where Monticello, there were several farming communities that had, obviously, cities, that you could walk on what was not taken out. So that was very interesting. But for me, that's why Budweiser is here.
Right.
So one of the things that we need to talk about in Solano County is that if you want economic development, what is it that we need? Well, obviously, number one is water. Number two, land for people to put their businesses. But more than that is we need to have electricity, gas, whatever it is that we need in terms of making sure that we have electric lights.
Right.
And right now, my understanding is there's still like over 100,000 people in the north area that still don't have electricity because of all the storms. So it's things we need to look at.
Absolutely.
But going back to Lake Berryessa, is that we had the people who thought about where do we see ourselves. And in 1953, so we have the Korean War,
That just ended, right? Yeah.
That had ended in 1953. That's when we finally got the funding from Congress in order to start building what we needed to build, obviously, which is the dam. And then in 1963...
That's 70 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But think about the fact that it just doesn't automatically start, right? Everybody has to, you have to talk about, you're going to have to move the people.
Absolutely.
And you're going to have to deal with people, and then different, graves had to be moved. I mean,
Right.
all the sorts of things that would happen. But that people had the wherewithal to think about those kinds of projects. It reminds me very much of the Feather River project that Pat Brown worked
Right.
on. Yes, I know our water goes down south. Don't
Right.
get me wrong.
We can still have
But
it.
we still do. We still do.
Yes.
Well, and the other thing down the road that I want to talk to everybody about too is the tunnels. They still want to do a tunnel, which is going to create havoc. But that's another
To transport the water?
to transport the water down. So we thought the peripheral canal, which was like, 40, 50 years ago,
Right.
it still hasn't ended, and they call it something else now. But I'll bring that forward to all of you guys, because you need to understand that if we don't have the water,
Right.
nothing's going to happen here.
Absolutely. We
It's-
are an ag community.
We
right?
are an ag
Yes.
community, but we also need to make sure that we have the water, because we're down to just Travis and Beale. And as whatever happens with China, there's going to be a lot of, I would love to have it positive. Let's hope that it is with
Yes.
trade, but you just don't know
Absolutely.
what's going to happen. I mean, with Xi talking to Putin
Yes.
and everything that's happening with Ukraine, which
Absolutely.
just tears my heart
Yes.
to no end, that somebody can invade your country and people object to that. Well, okay, so what if somebody came to California? I think I'd be a little angry, and I would be out there
Yes.
and would want to have support from my fellow Americans to help. But, so there's also the stuff that we need to look at, which is infrastructure. And I'm talking right now with the water.
Right.
So yes, you're right. So the dam has been around and functioning since 1963, but that also means the infrastructure that sends the water to Vallejo,
Right.
Fairfield, Benicia, all of these places, those pipes need to be replaced.
Yes, and that's all in your district.
And that's a
too.
lot of that,
Yeah.
right, in fact, we're very close to where the lines intersect, and due to national security, I'm not gonna, human
sure.
homeland security, I can't tell you
Absolutely, no.
where that is, because
As long as we get water.
as
we're
long as we
happy.
go, exactly.
And you're taking care of it.
I'm doing what I can, exactly. You're right, but I think people need to know. So one thing of being a supervisor is that there's all these things that you need to worry about.
Right.
You need to worry about, granted, the potholes need to be fixed. That I don't want you to be flooding.
Yeah.
That we need to work with John Garamendi and tell the railroads
Yeah.
under interstate commerce, you need to clean under your trestles. That we need to have a lot of our land stay
Yeah.
in the unincorporated area and stay ag, so that water can penetrate.
Right.
So our aquifers.
Yeah.
We need to make sure we have water. So, you're only as good as you have water. And I think if you're watching the news, something that's going on in Arizona, that people built in an unincorporated area, and the city near them has cut them off from water.
Oh, my goodness.
So then
So we
you-
need to really, that's why we need county supervisors to make sure that the cities don't.
in my
Yeah,
opinion,
yeah,
in my
that makes a
opinion,
lot of
because you
sense.
need to have, the water needs to be captured in some fashion. And if you have enough, to penetrate it down, obviously, to
yeah.
keep it there. But we do have to be very careful. Water is not free. It is, and we need to understand
That
that.
makes sense too, and to conserve, because you have people like me who think, when during the drought, I'll take a shower every other day and I'll take a 5-minute shower. Now that we have all this water, like you're saying, 5 years worth of water, I can take an hour-long shower. I can sit and soak in my tub. No, we still need to
We
conserve.
still need to conserve, because
Absolutely.
with climate change, nobody knows what's going to happen a year from
Absolutely.
now.
Just extreme weather on one side or the
On
other.
one side or the
Yes,
other.
yes.
I mean, look at what happened yesterday, or they were talking about, we had this low, and which basically is what starts your hurricane and all that it has some sort of an explosion of some, whatever a meteorologist would
Yes.
say, and caused all that wind, and unfortunately, a couple people lost their lives when the trees.
Oh, my goodness.
So you need to look at, are we even landscaping properly? So in my backyard, I had 2 redwoods. Well, redwoods take a lot of water, let alone shallow roots.
Right.
Eucalyptus trees are not the best That's just
And they are a fire hazard too.
They are a fire hazard. They're widow makers. So there's a lot of things that you need to look at in terms of what should water be used for. I think water should be used for obviously people, but it also needs to be used for making sure that we have food.
Yes.
Where's our food going to come from? And it's
That's why it's imperative that we maintain our agricultural
Exactly,
areas
it is.
in our unincorporated areas.
Yes,
Absolutely, which
yes.
they keep fighting for when they come to the city council. So
Yeah.
the water thing. What else is going on in your district?
Well, for right now, the flooding was taken care of, so we're okay with that. The different things that I've been working on was the area agency on aging,
Right.
and making sure that our seniors get fed, and we're still getting basically 3/4 of the dollar coming to Solano County. And I want all the seniors to understand that if you need help, reach out.
Yes.
We have money to make sure that you get fed. We are working on a program which right now we don't have enough funding, and you have to put your name on a list, but to make sure that our seniors engaged is to get a Chromebook. So if that's something that you would like and would like to be trained on that, we are getting money to help with that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I'm excited over that.
The constituents in District 2 call your office directly, because like how else can they?
Exactly,
contact
call
you?
me directly,
Okay.
and what I'll do is give you the phone number and we'll put you on a list. But one of the things that I wanted to push and have pushed is that we reach out to the kids at Solano Community College.
Yes.
We have a wonderful computer program, and let those students come and meet and have intergenerational,
Yes, that's
and then they can
brilliant
be
idea.
put on, they can say, this is what I
Yes.
did to help seniors, and
Yes.
put it on their resume.
How do we go about doing that? Like, is there
Well, it's already in the
Oh,
works.
that's
It's already in the
brilliant.
works.
Because you have Generation Z who's so clued in.
Right.
And they grew up with all this technology.
Yes.
You have people who are over 65 years old for whom technology is still frightening.
Yes.
You know, and to be able to say, you say Chromebook, and some people are going, Chrome, what's that? You know, they think it was part of a car. You know, and
Oh, good
you put
point.
Chrome and then book together. And like, what is that? It's like when
Yeah.
when the mouse came out. You know, people go, what's a mouse? You know, so all of these new terms that they're using, and then learning the technology. That's a brilliant idea. You know, what also it does is teaches young people to work with our seniors, and it teaches respect for each other.
Yes.
You know, and build relationships that way. What a great idea.
So,
Tell us more. My
So
goodness.
the CDA, California Department of Aging, reached out. We have found that the isolation with the pandemic has not been good for people's mental health. And it doesn't matter what your age is, mental health is mental health. So by reaching out and letting people know, get your name on a list, and as we get more funding, that we will work with you and teach you. And we're looking at right now, we haven't decided where, but we're looking at like maybe doing it at the senior centers so that you can come.
Yes.
We'll have, I'm pushing again, and they know,
Yes.
I confirmed that again today. You guys know this, that I want our kids from Solano Community College to go out. It teaches them how to engage. It teaches them how to be patient.
Yes, on both ends.
On both ends, exactly.
Yes.
So I'm excited over that. And what was nice about it is we received $80,000 to pay for the support. And so our students not only can put it on their resume, but they'll also get paid.
Wow.
And so I'm excited over
Thank
that.
you
We're
so
still
much.
working on it. I'll keep you guys informed.
Yes, we'll do that on our next
And
show.
well, I don't know if I'll have
Nothing.
that much, but that doesn't mean I can't keep you guys
There you
informed
go,
and let
absolutely.
you know what's going on. So but I want everybody to understand that. Okay, so there's water,
Yes.
right? So working with our seniors,
Yes.
and then our in-home support folks.
Yes.
We still are looking for people to go into people's homes so our seniors can stay in their homes.
Yes.
You need to get trained. So why are we at the community college? Because we have CNA, right?
Yes.
We also have LVN, we have the RN program,
Yes.
and by 2030, if we do not have enough nurses, the shortage will even be more acute than it is right now.
Yes, and we'll have to outsource nurses.
Well,
Thank goodness.
yes,
Yeah, and
yes.
The programs too, they have such a long wait list.
Yes.
You know?
Well, and that is why we need to be talking with our members in the Senate and the State Assembly, as well as Gavin Newsom, and say, you need to give community colleges the money it needs. This is where the workforce is going to come from.
Yes,
And we have that with the luscious four-year degree program that I cannot thank Jim DeClo enough.
Yes.
So yesterday I was at the economic summit, so to speak, that they were having. Oh, look at Vacaville and every witch and Tech and all of that, and it was all I could do not to stand up and say, you can thank community college for creating that workforce.
Solano Community College.
It's Solano Community College.
Yes. We're one of the 14 junior colleges that provide a bachelor's degree.
It might be up to 15, but the only reason it's capped is that's what Jerry Brown did, and it had to be something. If you remember, it had to be something that the UCs and state universities did not do.
And that's wonderful, and we're so fortunate.
And we
to
are
have
very
that,
fortunate,
yes.
very
and under
fortunate.
the direction of our very wonderful superintendent, Celia Esposito Noy.
Yes.
She's amazing, and what she's
Well,
doing.
and I'm going to take a little bit of credit because I got to
and
vote
you
for
too,
that. I got to vote for that.
Of course. Well, you were on our board for so many years.
Exactly.
You introduced Early College High School.
I love,
and which is thriving, by the way. And then just work now with our students and seniors incorporating that. I mean, that's just wonderful.
Well, one of the things that I believe in my mind anyway, that I think this is what year 7 for me to be on the board, is getting the rest of the board members to understand that if you don't have a viable educational program, no business is going to come here, because where are they going to get the trained workers?
And investing in our education, investing in our students, is investing in our retirement.
Yes.
Right?
That's a good point. No, I hadn't thought about that, but exactly.
Believe that too.
Exactly.
Yeah. And look at what we're doing, growing our young people to be productive members of society, and look at what they do to help. Our seniors who have contributed so much to our community. And that's why it's so nice to have people like you who, with that kind of foresight in our community. And just you being on the Board of Supervisors has been a tremendous benefit to us.
I thoroughly enjoy being on the Board of Supervisors.
And you're great.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Well, and I don't know where we are in time, but just one more thing, and then we can always talk more about it. So yesterday with the Mental Health Board, we were able to have a training about the care court, which is coming up, and what are we going to do. The problem is, in my opinion, still after the PowerPoint and the discussion, is that you can't give us something without some funds.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yes, I know we have mental illness. Nothing is free.
We're all paying.
Nothing is free.
We're contributing to that. We're taxpayers. We're paying for that.
We are.
Right? Yes.
But something neat is that we got approval, and we finally have our first person in the mental health facility, because we have on Beck Avenue, we have the mental health with 16 beds.
You were telling us about that last show.
Yes. So we got the approval, because it has to be approved by the state, which makes perfect sense, to make sure that we have the people with the wherewithal have the instruction. So we finally are opening it up. I'm excited over that.
That's a wonderful update.
Well, it is, and it's because everybody needs help, and we're made of chemicals.
Yes.
So if you're off a little bit, it's not you. It just means that your body needs a little bit of help.
Yes.
It's just like eating breakfast, right?
Oh,
you might
boy,
not
do
be
I know
hungry,
that now.
you might not be hungry in the moment, but you know that you need to. Like I always like having milk in the morning. Depends upon if I want to have some oatmeal, but you need to have something to keep you going. So that's the same thing with mental health.
Fuel
Let's
up.
help.
Yes, absolutely. Psychologically, emotionally, and physically. Absolutely.
And which is why call a friend.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Yes.
It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Let's go for a walk. It doesn't cost money to call a friend and say, let's go for a walk. Are you kidding? Everything out there, it's springtime now, and everything's green and joy. So there's just a lot out there, but let's just help each other. I wish we could just be kind to each other. It's so hard.
Yes. Well, you bring up so many wonderful points, and you exemplify them all. I mean, you walk the walk, you talk the talk, and you do it. And like I said, you're everywhere. Your constituents see you. That's why we know you on a first name basis. You give us our newsletters every Friday. We know what's going on, and just being here to give us updates on what you're doing in all the different committees and subcommittees you're on. We really appreciate that, and I just want to thank you again for being here. And I look forward to your next visit.
The next visit's going to be about the mussels and why we have to keep them out of Lake Berryessa. And there are some jobs for our kids to help us with that.
Absolutely, yes. So we have a
right.
5-year supply of water, but doesn't
Right.
mean we shouldn't conserve water.
That is correct.
We have the area agency on aging, where we're trying to incorporate a partnership with our students at Solano Community
Yep.
College with our seniors, and we're
Yep.
going to talk about the muscle program.
Right.
And then the update on the beds for our
With the mental health
the mental
beds,
health
yes.
program. So thank you so much again for coming to hang
thank
out with
you.
us here
Thank
and
you,
for
thank you.
keeping your constituents in District 2
Oh.
abreast of what's going on. I really appreciate that. and
I
look
have the
forward.
best district.
Yes,
I keep
you
telling
do.
everybody I have the best district.
Well, we
Yes.
work hard because we know that our public servants are working hard for us, and democracy is participatory. If you want our community to do better, we all have to, to work together. Like you said, call a friend, take a walk, just check in on everybody,
Yes.
And so I just want to thank you for checking in with us as members of our community. And for another episode of About Town, I want to thank you all for joining us. And again, I'd like to thank Supervisor Monica Brown for gracing us with her presence and giving us an update on what's going on in her district. And after another episode, thank you very much for joining us, and peace out.
Thank you.